coming up on this episode of the Awake and Aware podcast.
Did you guys off camera, were you always still doing pranks?
We were never off camera. First meet and greet, fans online were asking to meet us, so we're like, all right, let's just put something together. And how many people do you expect? Probably like 100, 200 people. He's like, yeah, fine. 8 to 12,000 people there.
I saw the photo of you with Mike Tyson.
I was actually real disrespectful to Mike Tyson. Like, I took a puff of the joint and I blew it into his face.
Episode 6 of the Awake and Aware podcast. Welcome back for another one. We're absolutely been on a steamroll lately, so it's really good to be back in the studio consistently. And today's guest, Beau Brooks, here, you guys probably know him from the Janoskians. So Beau, mate, thank you for coming onto the show. It's going to be awesome to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and not only for having me, but for flying me out too. Really appreciate that,
dude. Honestly, it's no stress at all. You know, I'm really wanting to get you on, and I've been so pumped to have you on here. And it's been really good to communicate over the last few months, few weeks, and gain a bit of a friendship along the path as well. So
yeah, I feel like we had that instant friendship just through the content that we've been releasing, because we're on very similar wavelengths, which is like why we can relate to each other, which I think will bring out some good conversations in this pod.
100%, man. Yeah, we definitely do have a very similar story in a lot of respects. That instant, the friendship, what we sort of connected with, as you said, it's definitely going to go a long way. And I think, to kick off the podcast, man, you've been in the space for a long time. Take us back to the evolution of the Janoskians. What formed that group? What was the pillars, what you guys wanted to stand on? How did it all come about?
Yeah, man. So I think it came about through confidence, just us as kids always wanting to push the boundary and to bring our best foot forward. Like, growing up, I was always the person in high school that kids would be like, look up to me through the things that I was doing. Like, I remember through high school, I gave up soft drink for like 3 years, and then all the kids wanted to follow that and kind of take like that role through their lives as well. And then along with that clarity of like doing physical exercise and being healthy and nutritious, came this great confidence within myself where I flaunted it, and all my friends were flaunting it because they all figured it out as well. And we just happened to get that on camera. And one video, it was like the 4th video we ever filmed, just fucking went viral. All Aussie kids were just relating to it, sharing it at school, and just like wanted to be kind of part of that friendship group.
Yeah, man, I know. I think I was 12 or 13, whatever. I was a young buck.
Yeah,
and,
wow.
I was, seeing your content come about.
Yep.
And yeah, some of the stuff was just fucking hilarious. So I guess when you guys are coming together, because what was it? You're 2 brothers and there's 2 other people, am I right?
Yeah, and there's 2 brothers and 2 mates of mine.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so were you guys always a bit of a like a close group of not just brothers but friends as well? Why did you want to form a group of, going through the videos you were doing, the pranks, the stuff? How did that evolve?
Yeah, all right. So growing up, I think it was mainly because of my daddy issues. I never really had that male role model figure in my life to latch onto, so I kind of had to create my own role model figure, and that was through movies. And Leonardo DiCaprio was my inspiration. And just the way he was in the Titanic and the way that he treated Rose, which was so gentle, which was very opposite to how I saw my father treat my mum. I kind of clung on to Leo, and I always just wanted to be an actor because I idolized him so much. So from a very young age, my mum asked me, she's like, what do you want to do? And I always said, I want to be an actor. Like, I just want to be on screen. I want people to see me, and I want to be the person that people can idolize the same way that I idolize Leo. So it was a very big inspiration. And my grandmother always filmed us boys on handheld cameras. to show our mum, like when she went to work, like she showed the videos. So I'd always be in front of the camera presenting and stuff like that. So at a very early young age, I just always loved being in front of the camera. And my brother Luke got his skills of videography from my grandmother. So he ended up eventually getting his own camera, and that kind of came together. And then Jay's an artist, so he's very creative with ideas. So we all came together just naturally without even thinking about it, and just started making like home movies pretty much. And this just kept going until YouTube came along. And YouTube back then in 2011 wasn't what it is right now. YouTube back then was funny home videos, one-off things like Charlie Bit My Finger going viral, and that was it. Nobody took it consistently or as like something that they can do every single week to get an audience to be around them. So we kind of found YouTube when that was just beginning from the very start. And it wasn't because we wanted to turn it into a business. It was just simply because we loved everything about it. We loved uploading. We loved seeing people's reactions. And yeah, one thing led into another, and it just ended up becoming massive, huge.
Yeah, you guys jumped really quick.
Yeah.
In such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And the thing, YouTube's king. It always has been. It always will be.
Yeah.
And I think it was very smart to capitalize on it back then, because if people like that content just does not go around anymore on YouTube. It's all sort of short documentaries or podcasts or sort of vlogs and stuff.
Yep.
So I guess when did you guys off camera, were you always still doing pranks, or were you guys actually sitting down and wanting to like script up pranks, jokes? How did that come about?
We were never off camera. We always just had cameras on us, like especially when we were coming up and into Hollywood and stuff. There was just always cameras. So kind of just what you saw were like the funniest bits of how we lived. So pretty much everything that we did script a few ideas and said, okay, let's go out and do the blind man lottery ticket or whatever it is. But I think the most like viral videos, or the ones that the audience could relate with most, was behind the scenes, and kind of just like how we would mess with each other when someone was sleeping, or grab someone's phone and chuck it in the microwave, and just like that real camaraderie that you have in your early 20s, late teens with your mates, kind of filmed and put up there. Yeah.
How was obviously you guys, what grade were you in school, were you guys when you were picking this up?
Yeah, so I had just finished year 12.
Okay. Yeah.
And my brothers, it was like halfway through year 10, they dropped out because they had to. They didn't have any other option. Like, I remember they went out onto the school footy oval, and all the year 8s saw them, and all the year 8s left class and like ran to the southern oval and just crowded my brothers, and they're like, we can't be here at school. Like, we're learning about history when we could be making history right now. So they dropped out to go and do what we did.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
And after that, when you were coming out of high school, was the main focus just to do pranks and videos, or did you have any aspirations to continue it further?
Yeah, we did. We had like goals in the back of our mind, but the goals presented themselves to us, and then once they presented themselves to us, we stuck down that one kind of path. So the goal was to get a movie deal. We ended up getting 2 movie deals, and then another goal was to tour the world and to go on stage. Another goal was to have a very successful merchandise line, and then another goal was to release music and to be the best musicians that we could be at the time. And yeah, these goals just kept coming up, and it was just kind of what we kept focusing on as they were coming up.
When did you start to get your first bit of notice from outside, international?
Yeah, so after our first meet and greet, fans online were asking to meet us. So we're like, all right, let's just put something together. So Mum and I went and scouted venues, and we were in St Kilda in Melbourne, and we're going to all these different venues, and then we looked across the road, and I'm not sure if you know what Luna Park is.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge amusement park. And we looked at each other and we're like, should we try that? And we went in and we spoke to like the event organizer, and he's like, yeah, sweet. no worries, $1,000. And how many people do you expect? And I'm like, probably like 100, 200 people. He's like, yeah, fine, we can organise that. Day came around and we get there and there's about 8 to 12,000 people there standing in line, and the lines were going blocks and blocks down towards the beach. Like, there's so many people we couldn't wrap our heads around. So at that meet and greet was when international people started recognizing us. So we got a Sony representative come to that meet and greet, handed us their business card. Then we got MTV. They came to that meet and greet as well, handed us their business card. And then we got a international management team that came over and wanted to pitch to us as well. So it was at that meet and greet when all the fans showed up. And yeah.
Fuck, man, I can only imagine the excitement or how...
Yeah.
You know, when you're walking up and you're seeing all those people, what was going through your mind? What was the feeling inside of you?
It was like, we've made it. Like, this is it. Wow. Like, what is life?
The speechless,
like,
hey?
Yeah, it's just, it was so exciting and overwhelming almost, to the point where I was a little bit scared, you know,
Yeah,
like, because I didn't know. It's like entering into an arena that you've never touched or seen before. It's like, yeah, it's very hard to describe, but it's something that I always wanted since a kid. So excited, very excited.
Sort of making your dreams come true in that very moment, right?
Yeah, and it was with my family too, which was even better. Yeah. Cool.
How far on from that meet and greet which business card did you decide to go with?
Yeah, so we had many different business cards offered to us. I think one was like the management team of like Usher. There was some big names I can't remember at the time, but it was Scooter Braun, who Justin Bieber's manager. He retweeted one of our videos on Twitter. So we got the attraction of all those talent scouts and managements from America that wanted to be like Scooter Braun. So Scooter Braun put us on the map, and so we're getting all these offers, and it wasn't until Jay Sean's manager, his name's Jeremy Scala, he recognized us and said, hey boys, I'm going to fly from Los Angeles to Sydney to meet with you. Just hear me out. So we're like, everyone else wants to just chat over email. Let's go hear this guy out. And we sat down with him and he goes, all right, boys, this is my proposition. If in 6 months I don't get you a movie deal, I don't get you a touring international with Live Nation, and I don't get you a TV show, you don't owe me the 20%. So I'm going to give this to you, and if this does not work out, I'll steer you into the right direction of people that can look after you. So we're like, wow. Like, I was sitting back with stars in my eyes. I'm like, wow, like, what is going on? Like, yes, sweet, let's do it. And taking no consideration on board of who this person even is, like, I pretty much got the group excited to sign with somebody, a complete random stranger that promised us the world.
Did they follow through with that? I assume they did, because you travel the world.
Yeah, he ended up following up with it. Yeah.
Tell me walk me through the stages after that. What was the, procedures after that meeting? Yeah.
So we stayed in Australia for a little bit while we were managing, like, sorting out, like, transition to management and record deals and stuff. And we wanted to do some more meet and greets before we went over to Los Angeles. And we particularly wanted to do one in London because our biggest fan base, it started in Australia, but then England overtook and just became the loudest. So we went over to London to do a meet and greet, and that was like double the amount of people that came to Luna Park, and we threw that in the Queen's Garden. And because there were so many people and it caused such chaos, there were no securities or barricades. The whole Queen's Garden got trampled over, and there were like 50 to 100 police officers trying to stop this event from happening. That really brought us up and got TMZ involved and got all the big media outlets to put us kind of on the map. And I remember before we moved over to Los Angeles, we were in London and that event had just happened and we were at the W Hotel and I get a phone call from the manager who had just signed us and he said, you guys just went from internet sensations to being global fucking famous. He's like, let's go, boys. And that steered us into America and really set our foot down to give us a place to say that we deserve to be in Los Angeles, America right now and to take over.
Yeah, nice. That's that's wild. I couldn't even begin to fathom or understand, that. But before, taking a bit of a step back, before, all the meet and greets, was this after the transition from pranks into music videos?
No, this was before we had even released any music. This was just through pranks and vlogs and stuff like that. I think what the music did was really, it turned a lot of people against us. Like, it made people think that we were frauds and fakes and wannabes and sellouts was a big, big word that we got when we transitioned to music. And me and my brothers were just like, fuck everyone, man. Like, we love music. We're going to sell out because we enjoy doing it. And I think once everybody accepted that was who we are, was when the music stuff took off.
Yeah, wow. So when, after Queen's Garden trampled that, how long were you in the country for before you made the decision to, eventually pack up and head to LA?
Oh, so we were only in London for like a week.
Right.
Yeah. We just went over there to just say hi to the fans. And then it was from London we went over to Los Angeles.
Yeah, right.
And so we transitioned over to Los Angeles. We didn't have a house or anything, so we were living out of hotels back then. And Jay Sean had funded us to go over. He invested $100,000 for us to go over and make a name for ourselves. So he paid pretty much for all of our living expenses. So we were living out of hotels for like 6 months before we ended up getting our own place.
Yeah, wow. What was the sort of coming in from that? Were you starting to see any money coming off the back end stuff side of that, or was it just completely, rolling through off, Jay Sean's, fund?
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't rolling off Jay Sean's fund anymore because Jay Sean had to see his money come back and everybody knew we were over there, to make money. So we started seeing money from merchandise deals. That was the first bit of money that we saw. We got our own merchandise line up and running and had somewhere to direct our fans to support us through the means of clothing. And that clothing line was called Dirty Pig. And that was, our first real big kind of paycheck. But it was also the record deal advances and the touring advances from Live Nation. So I think it was the universal advance for the music stuff, and Live Nation, which was like $500,000 at the time, US. So that like gave us some comfortability to go and look at houses and to live off.
Yeah, wow. I can only imagine like the lifestyle. Even I know when I was in LA, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world. And, especially when you're coming over into a caliber of what you were in.
Yeah.
How was the name just kept growing, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing is that ever since a young age, I've learned that if you take opportunities when they're given, it leads to more opportunities. So we were put in a position where the opportunities were rolling in real quick, but we were fast enough to pick them up and go with them, which just led to bigger and better things. So it was just like the snowball effect of we were just collecting as much snow and rolling into this big fucking snowball. Yeah, until eventually it did crash, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. I know the ride, how long was the ride between, LA, the transition from videos? Walk me through, your first movie deal. How did that come up? What even movie were you in?
Yeah. So we wanted a big movie deal, but before we could get the big movie deal, we had to settle for like a Netflix kind of documentary deal. So that came about within the first year or two of us getting into Los Angeles, but we had like the paperwork signed and stuff for us to be able to do it. So the first movie that we released on Netflix was called Untold and Untrue. And that was pretty much just them filming our everyday lives and us taking the piss out of One Direction documentary and turning it into kind of like a silly documentary, mockumentary kind of thing where they recorded us selling out an arena tour. And then after that is when they saw the sales. So that was a test. So they're like, we will invest, say, like $1 million into this. And if this does well with the audience, we'll go on to the next project. So that did really well on Netflix, and it was a cult hit within our fans. So then that's when we sat down to talk about a real movie with Mike Tyson and like big cameos and big budget sets and stuff.
I think, the other week I was doing some research and I saw the photo of you with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
How was...
So crazy, man.
How was... Yeah, that's wild, dude. How was the interaction with him? How did, that... When you're getting approached by a man like that, what was that like, man? Walk us through that.
Man, it's a completely different ball game. Like... You're paying him to be in your movie, but like you are still like such a big fan of him. Like at the end of the day, he was working for us, but I felt like I was working for him, like to like hold his kind of reputation up and to give it the justice that it deserves was a lot of pressure, man. Like it's so much pressure, but at the same time, it's like a blessing, like to be able to be put in front of this man with such a great mindset that has built so much success. It's a blessing to be able to say that you've worked your way up to that point. But I don't think I knew that at that time. Even though I did feel blessed, I was taking it for granted a lot because I was a young kid and I was indulging a lot back then. So yeah.
Sitting here now, in the space you're in, when you say you knew you were taking for granted, upon reflection, what were some of the things that you were doing?
So imagine you're like going onto the set of your own multi-million-dollar movie. Would you be smoking weed and drinking alcohol before you get on set? Or would you probably be reading through the script, visualizing and wanting to do the absolute best because this is your moment?
I'd be taking the second option.
Yeah. And like as Eminem says, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. And I missed that chance. And unfortunately, the movie flopped. Like it was a huge flop because I was smoking weed. Like I wasn't taking it seriously. I thought everything that was given to me is just going to keep coming through because like for some reason I deserve, like I'm entitled to this. But what I didn't realize was all the years before Janoskians, all that hard work that I put into going to the gym and not drinking soft drink and eating healthy and being cautious of my life. And those were the things that got me to that level until, I thought that I was entitled and took advantage of it.
What was the other boys in the group doing? Were they doing the same sort of thing?
I don't know if I can speak on behalf of the boys. But I had some friends that like we just as soon as we wake up, we like smoking. Yeah, what is it? Wake and bake.
Wake and bake. Yeah.
I was around that environment, so we didn't really have that mentality of like towards the end. We didn't really have that mentality of let's grab life by the balls and succeed. It was more like let's just have fun.
Was there any moment when you were drinking and smoking on set, was there any sort of mental notes of this could be a flop if I keep continuing this, or were you just so in the moment of the excitement and everything around it, being with A-list celebrities, getting noticed, earning millions of dollars? Was there any sort of inkling of this could be make or break?
Nah, there was no inkling of this could be making like my head back then because all I saw were the caravans and the big sets and the directors and the producers, and I'm like, these are the people that's going to make this movie win. I didn't realize that like the only way to make this movie win was to do it myself. I completely just left it to everybody else that was trying to leave it on me. So, yeah.
When Mike Tyson was, when you're in the space of Mike Tyson, did he ever give you any motivation of how to, continue to be the best version of yourself, or was it always just he was on set, he was working for you?
Yeah, so the only real interaction that we got was when he first came on set and the cameras were up and we were just kind of like that camera talk type of hello and interacting, that type of stuff. There was no real proper interaction. I can't say that I'm Mike Tyson's friend or that I know him well at all, because I was actually real disrespectful to Mike Tyson, which I hate bringing up and I'm not proud of, but it's something that I've had to realize to be able to continue growing as a person. And there was a point where I took a puff of the joint and I blew it into his face. And yeah, it's not my best moment. And it's just, a shit moment, because somebody that's literally fought his whole life to be in the position that he is, for some shit little kid who's just found a little bit of money and popularity to do that. Like, if I was Mike Tyson, I would have fucking punched me in the face for sure.
What was his reaction to that?
He got really pissed off, and he turned around and said, I can't remember what he said, but it was like, these stupid kids or something like that. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, not proud at all, because I had an opportunity there to build a connection with Mike Tyson. It could have went two ways, and it went the way that it shouldn't have.
When you were coming through Hollywood, what are the sort of artists where you come in contact with? Did you ever meet, Jay Sean and all that? I'm just trying to understand the life you were trying to live in that space. So walk us through, you were on set with Mike Tyson, you had all these opportunities. What was going on the outskirts of that?
Yeah, so Jay Sean was actually a very big mentor of ours. He had his head very well switched on, and he knew the direction towards success. And at the same time, he was able to joke and have a laugh and not take everything too seriously. So he was an older mentor of ours that kind of brought us in and told us how everything is. So I really looked up to Jay Sean, and I thought he was really funny as well. And I think he was my closest celebrity friend. It was all under business, but you could tell he genuinely cared, and we were just kids at the time. So he really took us under his wing, which I'll always be grateful for. And I still admire Jay Sean from the distance. He's still killing it, still selling out arena shows, and he's got so much fans, and so he's doing something good. But yeah, there were lots of celebrities that I crossed paths with and partied with and had a lot of fun with. Like the Weeknd, the Kardashians. There was just name dropping now. Chris Brown, Logan Paul, Jake Paul. There was, did I say Ed Sheeran?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran was really cool. And I've told the Ed Sheeran story before, but I haven't told the Logan. Actually, I'll tell the Justin Bieber story. This is fucking nuts.
Hit me.
All right, so we were at this house party just outside of Coachella. So we were just outside the outskirts of, I think it was Vegas, and we were in this big influencer house, and Jake and Logan Paul were there. And they weren't Jake and Logan Paul. They were just coming out of Disney. I think it was Blitz Bahar or something like that. They were just coming out. And it's actually my mate, Daniel Skip. There was a trampoline in the back of that party house. And Daniel was going through people, wrestling them on the trampoline. So the next person up. And he bet Jake Paul and Logan Paul on the trampoline. And they're now professional boxers and wrestlers and shit, which is fucking mad. But at that party, we found out that Justin Bieber was across the street from us in his own house, also having a party and just having a bunch of people around. And we didn't realize at the time, but Jay got a message from Justin Bieber on Twitter. And he said, "Hey bro, you want to come chill?" And Jay did not see the message for 2 years. And he looks back at his phone and he's like, 2 years ago from Justin Bieber, hey, do you want to come chill? And he's like, we're like, you fumbled that so hard. But yeah, that was the closest when we got to Justin Bieber.
That's a bag fumbled, man, for sure. Wow.
He's fumbled a few.
So coming through, you know, all that space and, you know, having all these interactions and stuff, what was the end game, the end goal of those reactions? Did you want to keep it up? What do you think was your downfall at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think the downfall was, not realizing the potential that we had and the opportunities that we had. Because as I said at the start of the podcast, the snowball effect is when all these opportunities, we were taking them real quick, and then we just ended up not taking any at all. It'd be like one, and the opportunity wouldn't even be as great as another opportunity. Like, we weren't taking any more opportunities anymore, and we were more focused on how big of a party can we throw and how fucked up can we get, and how many people can we impress at this party.
Walk me through some of those situations of when you're at a party and you just think, you know, how fucked up can I get? Walk me through that. How is that looking like?
So a big error we made from the beginning of moving over to LA after the hotels was getting a mansion, because getting that mansion invited a whole bunch of people, and we'd want to show everybody where we lived and stuff. So we ended up having something called Wasted Wednesdays, which was pretty much all of young Hollywood, every single young celebrity you can think of, coming to our house parties on Wednesdays. And the reason we threw the house parties on Wednesdays because no one was throwing house parties on Wednesdays, and we could get everyone into the house. So we ended up, like, Wasted Wednesdays, we ended up just being event hosts pretty much, and just seeing how, like, mad these parties could get. And that was the real focus. And, like, how many people can we get in, and, like, how much alcohol can we smash, and, like, is the security ready? Like, we had security, like, standing out the front of the gates with guns, and, like, it was just, that was, like, the life that we ended up chasing for some stupid reason. And, like, yeah, I ended up like losing all inhibitions of, like, any ambitions and drive, and just, yeah, pretty much drank it all away until, yeah, the friendship group kind of broke up.
I can see in your face now that you sort of, you regret it a bit.
Yeah.
And you hold a lot of resentment towards that.
Yeah.
On the back end of your fame or success, what has been, you know, your mental health would have been in the dumps for quite some time.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Walk me through, you know, how long after your stint in, you know, LA and stuff, and, you know, after you unfortunately fell off, how did, and especially with the group breaking up, how did your mental health come into effect with that? How did that come into play?
Yeah, so when I got back to Australia, I just wanted it all to keep going, and I wanted to feel like I was still, like, a famous or a celebrity or whatever. So I invited people into my life that would make me feel like that. And I've said this on another podcast before, but so when I got back from America into Australia, that's when I started my drug addiction. And I wouldn't go out and buy, like, Coke. It would just be put up my nose. Like, I even had a mate that, like, when I was asleep, to wake me up, he'd, like, put like a bump up my nose, like, to get me out of bed. And, like, I'd ask him to do that sometimes. I'd be like, hey, if I flop it, just come and, like, bump me up. And, like, that was the lifestyle that I was living for many years, because I wanted these people to make me feel like I was still important. And that was very hard to get out of. I didn't ever want to admit to myself I fucked up. I wanted the train to keep rolling. And, yeah, make these people who I looked down upon, because I thought, oh, they've got 9-to-5 jobs, they're fucking losers, and I've come from Hollywood. These people will make me feel like I'm more superior than them. And that was, yeah, many, many, many years spiraling down that hole and trying to make myself feel like I was a person that I wasn't, trying to make myself feel like I was a success, when really I was just a loser, just an addict. And it took a bit for me to come out of that.
How long were you in America for, total?
It would have been about 5 years, but we were in and out of America, like touring internationally through like Europe and like UK and stuff. So yeah, in and out for like 5 years.
And that was involving with, taking a bit of a step back here.
Yep.
Involving when you were back in America, the transition from videos to music.
Yep.
Was that received well in America?
Yeah, in America it's received really well. Like we'd get invited to like red carpet events, Teen Choice, Kids Choice. Like, yeah, we ended up like making our name for ourselves in America and getting some like good recognition for our music. And we get into the studio with like really cool people like Black Bear. He wrote like a few of our songs. Mike Posner. We'd have the Sum 41 drummer drum for us like on some of our tracks like Real Girls Eat Cake. He also produced some music videos for us, so we got like right deep into the music industry and were accepted like very well for it, mainly because we could sell out shows and we like could sell our songs.
Yeah, wow. And coming from that, you obviously would have been making a pretty good amount of money.
Yeah.
So coming back to Australia, when you cashed up and you still have this name for yourself, I can only imagine people would have absolutely flocked towards you.
Yeah, yeah.
And was the party scene? Was it how you say you people wanted to make you feel superior?
Yep, yep.
How did they just put you on a pedestal the whole time? What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was like anything that I'd say they laugh at, or it's just anything that I'd say they'd agree with and accept with, and anyone that didn't, I wouldn't want to hang out with. So I completely did it to myself at the end of the day. But coming back to Australia, we maxed out of money. My brothers and I actually did put a big total lump of our savings into buying our mum a house, which is like, thank God we did something right. So yeah, we put a down payment on a house for our mums, but we even took that for granted because most of the people that we were partying with would come over to the house that we bought for our mum, and like there'd be kids on the fucking couch for 3 days zanned out, and my mum would just come home like, yuck, like what is this?
What was your mum's take on all of your success?
Mum, right from the beginning, always believed in us and always did what she could to make sure that our dreams would happen. Always right from the beginning. And yeah, she's always believed in us, and she's never said, in case this doesn't work out, or what's plan B. She always believed in our dreams no matter what, 100%. Yeah, she still does.
100%. And, coming through that, I can only imagine her seeing you guys at the highest of highs and unfortunately at the lowest of lows. Did she ever try and see you guys in a different direction? Did she ever remind you of the opportunity you had? Yeah,
she does. And it was a way before, it was like right at the peak, she realized that we weren't the people that she raised, because we ended up ignoring mum and ended up becoming... Mum saw it first, so she knew that there was going to be a downfall. And throughout the downfall, like, even though she, like, was upset about it, she was always still there. She was always saying, like, if you need anyone to talk to, I'm here. Like, she never left our side. She's always been real supportive.
Awesome, man. And, coming back to of you being partying... How long did that last for? What did that all look like?
Yeah, up until 14 months ago. It just progressively got worse. I remember when I came back to Australia, I did my first line of cocaine, and then it wasn't until like 2 months later I did another line, and then ended up becoming like every weekend. And then it ended up becoming, I need coke if I'm going to have alcohol. So one beer just meant I'm going to get a bag. And then it ended up being, I can't socialize without alcohol. So coke was involved pretty much whenever I was talking to anyone. And then outside of the coke, it then became prescription pills, like anything that ended with a PAM or like anti-anxiety medication that I wasn't prescribed for, antidepressants. and that would like supposedly help me out with the come down. So got like reliant on Valiums, and I did a little bit of Xanax, and then I did like opioids to get me to sleep, and then I did sleeping pills, and then hallucinogens, acid, mushrooms, because I just wanted to try it, because I've tried everything else. This can't possibly hurt. And then, yeah, just anything towards the end, anything that I could get my hands on, I wanted to take, because I had no real dopamine. The only thing I could rely my happiness off was substance and the high that it gave me. If I didn't have that high, then I was miserable, depressed, and anxious. And how can I be anxious when I've had so much fame and success? What gives me the right to be anxious? So that was like spiraling for me. That's what kept me spiraling for so long, because I've been given the world. Like, who am I to be fucking upset? Get over yourself.
Do you think, in that moment, because did you feel empty inside mentally, coming back from America, having, no real fame anymore?
Yeah, because, you can imagine, like, having the world at your fingers to it all being stripped away. You not only, like, feel empty and there's a hole, but you feel like you need to get it back. There's always that want and desire. If you've ever stepped onto a stage and you've had 1,000 or 10,000 people scream at you, and that energy, that is a high within itself, and it's undescribable to, like, just be looked up upon by people that love you and care about you, and for that to be taken away was like a big shock at such a young age. I didn't know how to deal with it, and I thought that's what was most important. But what I've realized through my sobriety and self-healing and growth is that the most important person, people to look up towards you, is yourself. And you need to find it within yourself to be proud of yourself for everything that you're doing. And that's what I forgot along the way, because I let the crowd do it for me. So yeah, there was a big hole at the time until I learned.
You're just constantly trying to fill a void.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you were doing once you realized, that you're going off the deep end even more so than ever? What was like the triggering factor to you being, it's time to, sort of accept it and grow?
Yeah, like the pivot point, the turning point is my mum's 50th birthday. She had a bunch of her friends around, and I thought it was a great opportunity to bring all my friends around too. So at this party, there was just a cocktail of everything, like hallucinogens, downers, uppers, alcohol, weed, everything. And I think it was like 6 different substances. It was like I took prescription pills, alcohol, weed, a drink called Kava, and then cocaine, and then another prescription pill. And I remember falling back on my bed, and I can't say for certain if I had a heart attack or if my heart actually stopped or if I just hallucinated. I can't say for certain, but I do know that I saw the other side. And you know how people say your whole life flashes before your eyes? It's what I experienced, and I've came to some real deep realization, and almost like a revelation or like a message from God, as some people would say it, but something real approached itself to me and said, this is why you're here. And my why was to be there for everybody. And the only way I was going to be able to be there for everybody was to do the hard work on myself. And since that night on my mum's 50th birthday, I've not touched a single substance since then. It took me a while to get off nicotine and cigarettes, but I shut the gates, closed the curtains to every single person that I knew that was filling my life with substance, and that fake void of finding myself and searching deep within myself to be the best person that I could possibly be. I just shut all the gates and said, nah, I'm done. I know why I'm here, and I want to be here, because this is fucking so much fun, and it's way more fun than getting fucked up on the weekend, for sure. Yeah.
Dude, that's a pretty heavy realization, hey?
Yep.
And coming outside of that, having that, sort of rebirth moment, the universe clicked its fingers in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
The next morning, was it instantly you looked in the mirror and you're like, it's fucking time.
Yeah. It's like, it's time to go to work. And that's when I started really taking the gym seriously. And then from the gym, I ended up finding other hobbies that I love. Because first off, it started off with my outer appearance. I wanted to shape the way that I looked. That's what I thought the hard work would take. And then I realized running pushed me to another limit where it wasn't just like I want to get my physical appearance right anymore. It's I want to take myself to a higher place of pushing myself and running and getting that runner's high and feeling good about myself and knowing that this is going to be good for my health. And it wasn't about intake of calories anymore to try and shape myself, but it was what are good calories to help me run longer and stuff like that. So from that turning point was really when I started to sharpen in on my fitness, my physical fitness, because that's what brought the sharpness in my mind, for sure.
Wow. Yeah. It's crazy how, the stuff we intake, whether it's mentally, what you see on the screen or what you read, what you eat, it has such an effect on your physical health, your mental health, and everything around that. And coming through, I know you've been pretty vocal on some of the articles that have been coming out about you. So coming from, living the life of the high life and going down a spiral, when you had that realization, what was your work-life balance looking like for that? How could you, sustain that sort of life?
Yeah, when I had that realization, I just wanted to bring in consistent income.
How to do that?
I just went and got a job. I signed up to an agency and said, just give me any work you can possibly give me.
Is that when you get started at that peanut factory?
Yeah, started at the peanut factory. And yeah, I loved packing peanuts. I did. I fucking loved it. It was a good time. It was like you go to work and you just leave all your stress behind and you leave work at work. And I liked it because it was also physical. Like it was high labor intensive. So I was like moving boxes. So I felt like I was working out. I just felt like I was a constructive member to society in a good way because people love peanuts. So I was like, sweet, I'm just like helping people, eat healthy too. And I'm part of that little process in this system. And I feel like I'm being, constructive to society. So that was nice. I really enjoyed the peanut factory.
Yeah, and sort of coming back from that, like the mental sort of challenge from realizing you were at the A-list of the, of life and stuff. What's been I know you said you really regretted it.
Yeah.
But deeper than that, is there anything else what you really thought or wish you did differently to, think you could be in a different place? Or have you fully accepted it?
I have fully accepted it. If I could do anything differently, which I will do now because I'm being given opportunities. So I've learned from my past is to take every opportunity and just give it the best you can and to try your hardest. And that's all you can do is just try your hardest and give it a crack.
Do you think you're happier now than you ever have been before?
Oh man, it's fleeting. Happiness comes and goes, but I do feel content. And I'm very happy with my vision of my direction that I want to go in. So yeah, there's a confidence for sure that I think's radiating and a lot of people are catching on to, which is very cool. I feel like it's almost like a comeback, and it's nice to show my face to all the people that believed in me from such a young age and to show my face in health and in positivity and in a good light. So yeah.
That's I know it is nice to hear that from someone who, you've had this roller coaster through life sort of thing, and sitting here now, do you ever reflect back and look back and tell yourself like everything what you went through was for a reason, and maybe your why and your calling in life is to actually sit here and try to help people, and I know you've just started a brand Look Up.
Yeah.
Do you think that is what your life is truly meant to be? It was never meant to continue that ride of fame and success and money?
Nah, that stuff probably will come, but that's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for, I truly believe, is my service to humanity. It's how much I can give. And I know the universe or God or whatever higher divine that you believe in will bless you and remind you that you're on the right path by bringing sometimes money and fame to you. But I always knew I wanted to be famous from a very young age, because I do believe that what I have to say is important. And I do believe that I am here to connect with as many people as I possibly can. And yeah, in the best way that I can.
Yeah, coming. Yeah, I mean that's super nice, and it's really awesome to hear that you had a new calling in life, and you want to steer people in the right direction. So on that, I guess what's now moving forward. What is your ultimate goal at the end of the day for this sort of space?
Yeah, just overall in life, as I said, is just to actually try my hardest and to be honest with myself with how much I can do in the best possible way that I possibly can. So even with the clothing brand Look Up, I want to be able to help people not only who need it, but who will appreciate it. So I do want to go into my community with some of the money that I'm getting and to maybe put it in somebody's hands where it can actually help them. Like a single mum, for example, because I know my mum, when she was raising us, she would have got on her hands and knees for somebody to do the groceries for her. So just small things. And I think just the more honest I can be with myself in everything that I do and every opportunity that comes along, will steer me into the direction that everybody's waiting to see, and the place that I will eventually be at. Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's really, really profound sort of stuff. Probably coming on to the back end of the episode now. What be ultimately the biggest thing you've learned along this whole entire process? What has been that, and what can you give to someone who is sort of might be even going through a time of struggle, might be going through a time of, they're riding a high or whatnot. What could be the best sort of advice you can steer them to keep on their path?
For sure. It's all within yourself. And if you dig deep enough, you'll figure out your why. And you don't need any outer things to become the best version of yourself, because it's there. You just got to look.
100%. You just got to look up.
Yeah, that's it.
What would be, the worst advice you've ever received, and why?
The worst advice that I've ever been given is to make as much money as possible.
That's profound, eh? Money doesn't buy happiness at all.
Nah. It really doesn't. I think a lot of what people are teaching online at the moment is steering a lot of young people into the wrong direction. But I do think the internet is getting better, and people are starting to see kind of how humans are supposed to connect with each other. And money can be a very powerful tool, but that's all it is. It's just a tool.
Mm-hmm. What would be the best advice you've ever received?
Okay. I got something pretty cool from, Husey.
Yes.
Yeah. He reached out to me like 3 weeks ago, and he's like, nothing is real. He's like, just smile and laugh. I was like, yeah, that's some pretty cool, dope, profound words from you, Husey. Like that's pretty, deep. Nothing is real. You can create everything out of your own mind, and just to be grateful for that and have a laugh with your mates.
Unreal, man. If there's anything you could, and what would be the best quote you can give to someone else?
Oh, okay. This is a really good one. I don't know who it was by or how it was properly said, but with a low state of mind, those people turn situations into problems. With a level balance, you're able to take a situation and turn it into an opportunity. And it's the way that you look at situations, because even what I did with the peanut factory, I think the reason that it went viral was because instead of me saying I got fired from a peanut factory and I've been doing so well, I got sober, I earned that position, and it got taken away from me by the universe, instead of me going into bed being depressed and drinking and looking back, I decided to come online and say, hey guys, yep, I lost my job at the peanut factory, but now is the time to work my hardest, show my strength, show my resilience, and to leverage that into new opportunities. And I think the greatest minds can take any situation, no matter how bad it is, and turn it into an opportunity.
Awesome, mate. That's unreal.
Even like, say a parent dies, which is, I think, is one of the worst situations. The way you can turn that into an opportunity is to use their life within yourself to become the person that they loved of you from such a young age. You can turn every single situation into a good opportunity and use it to help other people.
This just goes back to, you know, your mindset and perspective on life. Hey, there'll always be a good thing and there'll always be a bad thing. But if you choose to look onto the good side of things, you'll tend to be a more happy person.
Yeah. You can be strong for everybody else who needs you to be strong. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
mate. Thank you so much for coming on, and it's been absolutely awesome. Had a good close to an hour, so thanks for coming on, man, and taking the invitation.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Sparing your time and coming onto the show. So I really appreciate it. I think people are going to really going to take this far and take something from it.
Awesome, man, and thank you for making me feel like a celebrity again and flying me out.
No, that's all good. I'm sure you'll have to come on for a bit of a run up too. So
yeah, done. Yeah, let's do it. Love to catch up with you and see how you're going. And
well, on a high, thank you for coming onto the show today. It's been awesome, man, and to the listeners, thank you for listening. Appreciate your support. The feedback recently has been super, super positive, and if you could share it around, give us a follow, really helps us grow, and we can see where we take it to the stars. So let's go, baby. Cheers.
We're there. Cheers, bro.